Everyone who goes to Penn State or has virtually any involvement within the community understands how essential football games are. There's nothing quite like it. Imagine surrounding yourself with 107,000 other friends as you cheer on your team to victory. It's a great feeling to have a sense of involvement within the game, like when it's time to get loud and distract the other team while they're trying to score a field goal, or supporting Saquon Barkley after he scores a touchdown. That's quite literally the core of Penn State's values, getting involved and engaging in a part of something much bigger than oneself. Which is exactly why I pride myself on being a member of the Penn State Blue Band. The Blue Band is a 320-member Big Ten collegiate marching band that performs in these electric environments. We play an integral part of carrying on the tradition at Penn State and at football games, hyping up the audience on our parade to the stadium, riling up the crowd during our pregame performances and floating the word Lions across the field, keeping them entertained during halftime with a new show every game, and playing our hearts out in the stands. As I mentioned before, everyone has their ways of getting involved at Penn State, and I hope through my experiences, specifically at the Whiteout game on October 21st, 2017, I can relate to you how my friends in the band and I are immersing ourselves within the Penn State community. I hope that other Penn State fans engage with us as well so we can all have the greatest experience possible. I woke up after a restless night of sleep on October 21st, and my heart was already racing with the thought of what was to come during the day. I quickly took a shower, donned my Blue Band apparel, and headed over to the O. Richard Bundy Blue Band building, or as we like to call it, the OR. I play the mellophone in the band, and one of our section's traditions is game day breakfast, so we all pitched in and brought some snacks to help us perk up and enjoy each other's company. Then, we headed over to Haluba Hall for our game day practice and run-through of our drill. All of the rookies, including me, were barraged with questions from upperclassmen asking us how excited we were for the Whiteout game. Now, I'm not suggesting that I was jaded in any sense by the atmosphere of Beaver Stadium, but I couldn't have imagined it being any different than what I had become used to. But that thought was soon going to change. Practice went by rather quickly, which was nice considering I was already looking forward to the big game that night against the Michigan Wolverines. After our lunch break where we ate our typical game day subs and cookies, we formed a parade block outside of Haluba Hall so we could march down to the stadium. 1, 2, here we go! This has to be one of my absolute favorite parts of game days. It engages everyone in the band, and even the people standing outside watching, in a quasi-structured sequence of funny and iconic dance moves and outbursts of sayings known as parade order. As soon as I hear that drum roll off, I know exactly what we do. Each section has their own unique set of things that they say and do as a cohesive unit, and you only get it ingrained in your head after doing it so many times. As we wave our hats to the fans above us on our way into Beaver Stadium, I'm told by the rest of my section to cover my eyes as to not spoil the whiteout scene. If my eyes were open, I would be able to see down the tunnel and see the crowd, which was meant to be a surprise for later. We still have about an hour until kickoff and about half an hour until our pregame show. After our collective warm-up as a full ensemble, we lined up for pregame around the corner of the tunnel, waiting for our director, Mr. Drain, to blow his whistle so that we can line up at the entrance. He blows his whistle, and amidst the cheers of the rest of the band, we scuttle over to the tunnel, and that's when I felt an incredible sense of euphoria and excitement. Amidst the curse words I was muttering under my breath, I was in awe at what I saw. I could only see and hear about 20% of the stadium. My tearing eyes saw a sea of white on the opposite side of the stadium, and I could hear the crowd seemingly more louder than I had ever experienced. I watched the megaboards as our drum major, Jack Frisbee, struts his way down the field and the drum line rolls off, at which point we say, 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 get ready. At that point, we take off, and the second I'm completely immersed in the stadium, there was a wall of sound that I literally felt on my body. It was incredibly loud and absolutely awing. Amidst the cheers of Let's Go State, I managed to high-step my way to my pregame position. As I'm marching in place, I can't manage to get over the crowd. I look up and all around at the mesmerizingly white crowd. The absolute best part of this entire experience is during our fanfare and the drum major makes his way down the field to do his signature flip. As a performer, I can't ever see if he completes the flip, but there was no doubt in my mind that he made it successfully. Remember that wall of sound I was talking about? At this point, it was like you fell asleep with headphones in your ears, and someone decided it would be funny to turn up the volume to the maximum and burst your eardrums out. It was so loud. Beaver Stadium was electric and overflowing with cheers. I had no idea I was performing for what we later found out was the largest crowd in Beaver Stadium history. We performed the entirety of pregame, including our downfield theme, the alma mater, the floating lions, and the rock and roll theme as the football team comes out. I wasn't sure if my mouth hurt from smiling so much or from playing so loudly and blowing my chops before making it to the stands, but nonetheless I could tell that this experience was unmatched to anything else in my entire life thus far. I make my way to my seat to enjoy the rest of the game, and the excitement stays with me the entire time. Looking back on this experience, I want football fans to understand there is nothing better for a performer than having a receptive and engaged audience, and whether the energy was for the football team or for us, I don't care. I felt energized from the crowd regardless, and I reciprocated by playing my heart out with all I had. The band fed off the crowd's energy, and vice versa. It was an exponential increase in the excitement and engagement from that point forward. I hope all people who attend Penn State football games take the time to recognize how crucial the Blue Band is to establishing the spirit and driving the energy at the games. Not only this, but if you engage with us, we will feed off your excitement and turn it back to you with something much greater. Almost all Penn State football fans understand there is nothing like our stadium, our team, and our school spirit. Let's continue to make this Penn State football experience one of a kind, and recognize the Blue Band's significance and share our excitement with us as we raise the song and fight on to victory.